1 year ago, I uploaded a video called 70 hypercharges for 70 brawlers, but now we have 86 brawlers in this game. And I found this huge Reddit post from Realistic Tap 4156 on Reddit. Go check them out, please. Upvote this post. It deserves love. It's going to be the whole video, so I just want to promote this. But what's going to happen here is I'm going to go through all of the hypercharges in this post. I'm either going to rank each of them individually good or bad. If I rank one bad, then I'm either going to suggest an entire different hypercharge or I'll change it in some way. But if it's good, then it's good. And if you guys have any ideas for yourself, then leave a comment. Also subscribe and use code NUBS. First one is called Triggered for Ash. His rage bar will be fully charged for the duration of his hypercharge, and his super rats will slow down enemies for 0.5 seconds each. I think the idea of his rage bar being filled no matter what during the hypercharge the entire time would be actually pretty good. I feel like they will do that. And the rats slowing enemies just seems good because Ash doesn't really have any way to crowd control in this game. And plus his rats kind of suck. The only thing they're really good for is charging your rage bar. So having them do literally anything else is probably a good idea. So I actually think this one's good. I don't really see a reason to change it. Now we have oil around for Amber. Amber's oil makes anyone who steps on it keep spreading oil by walking. This one is really simple and I don't think it's that good because of that. So I'm going to say bad, mostly because when you're using a hypercharge in this game, you want to go super aggressive. So most of the time you're just going to be burning that oil immediately anyways. And that's what Amber does in the first place. She throws her oil and then burns it. So I think this could be part of it, but maybe they could even like leave fire on the ground where the oil was. So like a big area of fire that just lingers there for like 5 seconds. So you can't step there for a while. But again, you could do both. Now we have B, Angry Wasps. B super marks enemies hit, marking them to receive more damage from all sources for 5 seconds. So it's kind of like Bell's Mark, but it's for B. And it only lasts for 5 seconds. I think this would be pretty good for B. I just don't know if it would really make sense for B. So for that reason, I'm gonna say bad. The hypercharge I personally would want to see for B is one that makes all of her Bs home in on enemies, so then they're all like guaranteed to hit somebody. I know it's pretty simple, but like that's a lot of extra damage anyways, because if you hit her super point blank, it's not that bad of damage. So you're technically hitting it point blank no matter what if they all home in. Sugar effect for Berry. Berry's super is wider and will increase allies' speed and slows opponents that walk through it. Okay, I actually like this one. It takes into account your teammates and your enemies, which is really good for a brawler whose entire kit revolves around doing both. It being wider is obviously good, but you know, for some brawlers that's not enough. Like making Shelly's and Colt's supers wider and bigger is boring and doesn't really do anything. But yeah, the speed for your allies and the slowing for the opponents, I think that's actually perfect. So this one's got good for me. Doug's super will apply a respawn shield to anybody that's revived. That's insane. But realistically, what else are they gonna do with Doug? If you do anything to make this brawler better, he's going to just break the game until they nerf him again. So yeah, I honestly don't even know what they could do. I think the shield just makes sense. Like leave a comment if you know what else they could do with Doug. I'm giving this one good. Clancy fires 2 waves of his super. Pretty simple one, but very broken. I don't really know what else Clancy's could do. I mean, he's just made to do huge damage and that's all he really does. 2 waves of a Clancy super is going to take down an entire heist safe because at level 3 that thing already does so much. But I think it would look cool if it just keeps going back and forth with the hypercharge. Like that would be visually pleasing. I think that's actually pretty good. Now we have Inferno Machine. Chuck's super now leaves fire trails behind it that damage enemies walking through it. We have seen a concept for this before. I think it only makes sense. With Chuck going back and forth with a super, you'd obviously want to leave a trail behind because it's just decent crowd control. And like, what else are they gonna do with this super? Make it go even faster? Sure, but still add the fire trail. That's also good to me. Pictocopter. Carl spins much faster and also flies over water. That's actually kind of nice. So he spins faster, so he doesn't really move faster. I guess you would get the hypercharge bonus for that. Going over water is obviously good, but if there's a map that doesn't have water, then you're just going faster or spinning faster, not even moving faster. So in any map without water, you're doing more damage, but in a map with water, then you can abuse that. The only other thing I can really think of is letting it break walls, but I think that's too much. It would make sense because he has a pickaxe, so like maybe they could do that, but I think the concept as is pretty good. Grom's attacks and super also shoots projectiles in an X pattern for the duration of his hypercharge. The X projectiles only deal half damage. For his attacks and his super, I think that's too much. So I'm going to say bad right off the bat, just because I think it should only be his super that gets affected. That is how it is for like every other brawler in the game, I guess besides Surge, but I do think that like his super having the X on it is like a more than guaranteed hit no matter what. Like that is going to cover such a huge area. So I think it just being the super is fine. Gus, Awakened Spirits adds 1000 HP to Gus's super shield. Additionally, all of his attacks generate ghosts for the duration of the hypercharge. Okay, yep, that's good. I like to see other mechanics getting utilized. And I know that this one affects his main attack as well, but not really directly. It more so affects like his passive ability. Imagine spawning like 6 ghosts when you're using your hypercharge. That would be crazy. Yeah, this one's good to me. I could say they could add some type of like speed boost to the person you give the shield to or something like that, but there's already so much in this one. And I like that they utilize the ghost mechanic. Hank's hypercharge, top meta. Hank super shoots 8 torpedoes that pierce through obstacles, and he charges his bubble much faster for the duration of his hypercharge. So this one also affects the main attack. We might be seeing a little bit too much of this. It would help him feel a little bit less clunky during the hypercharge, but he's gonna do so much damage with that bubble anyways. I don't think he should charge it faster. The ability itself though, shooting more torpedoes that pierce through obstacles, I think that's fine. So overall good. Janet, raining mayhem. Janet super drops bombs 2 times faster. Her hypercharge pauses while she's in the air. Oh, what? I guess that makes sense, but I don't know if that's really necessary because she can just be like Miko where you go in with your damage and then you super at the end of it. I don't know if she should really get like a special treatment here. 2 times faster bombs though, I think is fine. Like realistically, what else are they gonna do with their hypercharge? Other than that, like they could just make her bombs larger. So I'll give it like medium. I guess that's a new rating I'm gonna do. Meg's next transformation super will enter in a buffed up Rob with 3000 plus HP. Her next transformation will super, what? So you'd only ever want to use this if you lose your mech. I don't think this is a good one. I'm giving that bad. I think it should do something if you already are in the mech, which you are 90% of the time, and you want to use the slash super. I think that should do something. This one could be good actually, like if you got your mech back and it could do something to the mech once you go back into it. Like this could be a thing, but there needs to be more to it. Mandy's super turns into a slowly maneuverable beam that deals high DPS for that lasts 3 seconds. That's insane. It turns it into a whole other super. I think that this will be like an actual brawler mechanic sometime. And what this means is like you shoot a laser and you can kind of like turn it side to side, so it's just like a constant laser beam. I don't think that just really makes sense for Mandy because they usually want their supers to be aimed the same way, but this is just not really the same. So this one's bad in my opinion. What I would probably do is, this is a rare case where I would say just make her super larger. I think a larger Mandy super would be insane. The ego has boosted stats and invincibility shield for 5 seconds. That might be too much. I know it's just the ego, but invincibility, I don't know. She's already got a gadget for shielding it as well. I could totally see the ego having like boosted stats though, or even the ego like doing something to the brawler that she hits. So I still think it's good because it says boosted stats. I don't really know what that means. Invincibility shield might be a little bit too much though. Lily, heart strike. Lily super one-shots enemies below 50% of their health. What? I think that threshold may be a little bit too high. 50%, that's like a Frank with what, 7,000 health or something like that. But if that's the only thing it does, then I guess 50% is okay. But I'm gonna give this bad just because I think it would be too broken and annoying. Instead, what they probably could do is just make her super like stun the brawler. I know that's simple, but it would make sense because it would give her even more of an advantage when going in. And you'd probably get more use cases out of it because you wouldn't want to wait until they're already low to super them. Because in this case, you kind of want to wait for your teammates to get them low, but if that doesn't happen, then your hypercharge is useless. Sam's Knucklebusters immediately comes back to him after reaching max distance or hitting a wall. Yes, okay, this is exactly what I need to see out of Sam. Kind of like Stu's where you get infinite supers, but you're just basically playing Carl or Charlie with him. This one would honestly be so perfect. If they do anything else, then they're not doing it correctly, so that's a thumbs up. The newest brawler, Shade, best friends, all allies are able to phase through walls for the duration of his super. What the? So if you're playing in like showdown or duels or anything solo, then this is absolutely useless. I don't like to see that. It does make sense with this character though, because he's really friendly, but maybe they should do something else as well. They could just make the super duration even longer, but he's a really new brawler, so we don't really know for sure what would be good for him. That being said though, I'm still gonna give this one bad just because it wouldn't work everywhere, and I don't like any ability that just doesn't work in some modes. RT creates a grass revealing and speed boosting area around his bottom half that stays there until it's destroyed. So when you split, you leave some kind of beacon where your butt is, and even if you go back to your butt, then the beacon is still there. I think that's what it's saying. So if you leave it in grass, it'll keep the grass revealed, but the enemy just has to shoot that beacon to get rid of it. This is actually really fitting for his character, and I think it would be fun. Like, I don't know what else they could even do to RT. He's already so broken with how much damage he can do and his marks and everything. So I personally think it's good. Willow's super lasts 2 seconds longer, already like that, and fully charges the controlled enemy's super while being able to use it. The enemy super will be consumed after her mind control ends. That is a good one. I like this one. Right off the bat, 2 seconds longer, really good, because half the time it feels like it does not last long enough, but using the enemy super is something I've always wanted to do as Willow, so perfect. Bow Minefield. Bow super leaves 4 mines in the ground that will explode 0.5 seconds faster. Honestly, if they don't rework either of his gadgets at any point, I think this one is good. Moonfall. Bonnie has cannonballs orbiting around her after launching herself, dealing 1800 damage each. Oh, that's weird. I think what they could also do, also similar to like the idea I had with Meg, is something different could happen depending on which form you're entering. So if you jump out, then sure, these orbs can go around you. I'm not even sure how much the orbs are going to help because Bonnie already needs to be like directly up on somebody to even deal damage. So this would just be adding to that. I was kind of hoping to see something that would help her actually like approach people after she lands or help her survive after she lands because she's so useless after she goes in. So I will give this bad just because I feel like there's not enough. But like maybe if you use her hypercharge and then you go back into Clyde, then Clyde has some type of special effect. You know what I'm talking about. Buster projects a shield all around him, reflecting projectiles into faster and stronger ones. This one is good. I don't know what else they could possibly do for Buster. Chemistry. Byron's potion also increases allies max HP and decreases enemies max HP by 1200 each. Okay, so it's like a perma buff until they die. Kind of like Ruff's what he can do a little bit. Decreasing the enemy's health permanently until they die is crazy. This one's unique. I'm giving that a thumbs up. Super destroys obstacles and heals him 500 HP per obstacle destroyed. Whoa, that's a unique idea. I mean, like, what else are they gonna do with the super? Like, make it slow people? Make it stun people? That doesn't make sense. Make it larger? No, doesn't need that. Destroying obstacles, like, it might be a little bit too much, but let's say that the cards cannot carve through like 10 walls each. Like, each card can break a wall or two. Then it might be a little bit balanced, maybe. Let's think about this. He's a controller, and the only thing he does to control is use his piggy bank gadget. That's like all he has to call him a controller. I don't even know why he's called a controller. So this would at least give him more utility. So then maybe he could actually be called a controller and it would make sense. Why is this guy not a damage dealer? I'll never know. That's like his whole thing. With him being a controller, I'm giving that a thumbs up. If he wasn't, then I would give it a thumbs down. Larry will fuse with Lori for the duration of his hypercharge, stacking their health and attacking with bombs and a shotgun at the same time. After the hypercharge ends, they'll split up. That is crazy. I'm gonna be honest, I think that's too much just because of the way Brawl Stars likes to go with their hypercharges. They like them to be simple and they like it to kind of be used the same type of way that you would normally. And I feel like this would be too confusing for them. So I'll give that a thumbs down, but it is a good idea. I think what they're probably going to do is just make Lori stronger in some way, and that's going to be it. Super radius is larger and heals way quicker. Okay, that one's really simple. And honestly, I think it's pretty good. The only thing I would maybe want different is you could possibly get like a little shield while you're in the super radius, like a 10-20% shield while you're standing in it. I think that would be kind of fun. I personally just love the idea of a healer also shielding people at the same time. It's just kind of cool to me. That's why I like Gus. But yeah, still not bad. Mr. P Penguin Army. Mr. P Super creates a porter every 2 seconds, a max of 4. So you can have 4 porters on the map at once. That's kind of crazy. I'll give it a thumbs up. I think Mr. P would do better with numbers rather than like raw power. Moe's super travels a bit further and all enemies will be stunned until he emerges from the ground. That's kind of weird. I don't know if I like this one. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a thumbs down. You know what I think they should do is remove the knockback from his super normally and add it to the hypercharge. It's clearly too good, so like you could just make it a hypercharge ability. Charlie Contagious Rhythm. Oh, that's Melody. Melody's notes spin around her much faster while dashing. I mean, while dashing? I don't know. I'm gonna give this one bad. I think the notes spinning faster around her is a good thing, but like only while she's dashing. I don't know, maybe just the duration of the hypercharge. Maybe she could also get like more notes, and you could maybe say that she could get more dashes as well. I don't exactly know how that would go, but hey, it's Melody, so she can do whatever she wants. Juju Voodoo of You. Gree reflects half of the damage taken to its dealer. Oh wow, you would really be hurting yourself if you hit Gree then. It makes sense though, because it's a voodoo doll. For that reason, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Like I think it really fits the character, and also like what else is Gregory gonna do? I don't know. Draco's dragon breathes fire in an even larger and wider radius. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else they're gonna do. I'll give that a thumbs up. During his hypercharge, Chester charges all of 5 of his supers in a random order, so you can just throw them out. I actually think this might be better than the idea where you just use them all at once. I think that would be too much, but getting all 5 and just throwing them out back to back, honestly, it would be fun. So I'm gonna give this one a thumbs up. On the contrary, you could just say add something to each of the supers, so when you use one, then each of them have their own effect and you just only get the one. That's also not that bad of an idea, but this one sounds fun. 3 sword style. Kenji's super has an additional cut at the middle that deals more damage. So we go like this, and then this. Maybe they could even do like all directions. I don't know. I guess it does change the way you're gonna try and dodge him, because currently I think what people do is they go like in between the diagonals, so then you know, actually dodge it. But in this case, it would hit that diagonal where you're going, so you would get hit anyways. So I do think that's good, but I think that they could do something a little bit more interesting with this. Like imagine he carves into the earth with this sword, and then like fire comes out, or like water, and it slows people, or it does something like that. I don't know. I'm just thinking about Demon Slayer. Kit immediately gets another jump after landing in someone, being able to jump indefinitely between allies and enemies for the duration of his hypercharge. No, bad. We've all seen what this can do. Infinite Kit supers is the worst thing that has ever happened in this game. It might have been the most broken thing in this game. Listen, if they're never gonna give him an ability that shields him when he jumps on an enemy, then give it to the hypercharge. And at the same token, if you use the hypercharge, you jump on a teammate, it could shield them as well. I think that's the perfect idea, in my opinion. Gray's super creates a separate pair of portals that is only replaced whenever his hypercharge super is used. So once you put that hypercharge super down, you can never replace it until you get a second hypercharge super, which is probably never gonna happen. So you'll have that other portal on the map forever. Honestly, this is the perfect idea for Gray. Thumbs up. Eve's super now immediately hatches after touching the ground and explodes, dealing damage in a large area. So you want to throw it on people, huh? I feel like this one changes the way you're going to use her super too much. So for that reason, I'm going to say bad. It would be fun, obviously, but I think it's just too different. I think potentially Eve is another brawler that could just do better with more numbers. Like the babies could run faster. They could maybe like leave something behind them as they're going. They could just do something more, but exploding, I'm not sure. Maybe they could explode when they reach people, but then that's like too similar to Ash's, Rats. Leave a comment, what do you think? But yeah, I think that's all of them. If I missed any, then just leave a comment, because I don't think I did, but I could have. And if I did, then I will just leave a comment for myself saying how I feel about it. Please go check out Realistic Tab on Reddit. This post is really good. A lot of these ideas were great. And yeah, subscribe. See you later. Have a good night.